All right, riding on the 2024 Sherco 250, SE 250. First few moments here at this demo ride. So this bike feels super nimble. It is crazy nimble, and I've been riding my EC300 Gas 2023 all day, so that's what I'm kind of comparing it to. Suspension feels really nice, actually. I actually don't really like KYB normally, but this one feels really good. Feels super narrow, feels way narrower than the Gas. Maybe because of this front fender. Very light, maneuverable. They set it to the wild map for me, so it's got a lot of like bottom end go. To be honest, I don't know if I like that very much. I'm gonna maybe pull over here and set it to the mild map. See how that feels. Oh yeah, I like this better. I like the power of the 300. It made a big difference. It's a lot smoother off the bottom. It doesn't have this kick. This bike is sweet though. I don't really like carburetors personally on it, but this one feels really good. Sherco, when you go to fuel injection, I might be tempted. Doesn't feel quite as planted as my DC gas, to be honest. But it's pretty confidence inspiring. You definitely feel the vibrations a little more. It's not terrible. The seats much less comfortable. I would say in general the bike feels much narrower. Clutch feels pretty good. It's got a little bit more of a nervous feeling to it. Might just be because it's a 250. Don't really like the shifter position. It's a little bit harder for me to shift. The rear brake position is really nice. Like the bars. Definitely a bike that I think is better to be ridden standing up. Sitting on it feels weird. But it is a very fun bike to ride. Thumbs up for me. Alright. So I am now on a 304 stroke Sherco. It's got a lot of grunt. I really like the brake position on these Shercos. This one is not quite stock. It apparently has a little bit stiffer suspension. This front brake doesn't feel like it's working very well. I would say, like this engine, yeah, this feels much more planted than the 250 two-stroke. Try a different map. But he set it to wild for me. I like the smoother power better, I think. Now this feels like my 350 EXCF. Very similar. Very smooth. Yeah, I like this bike. If you're looking for a woods 4-stroke, I think I'd be between a KTM 350 and one of these for sure. It's very nimble. But yeah, I don't really notice the flatness of the pegs too much, to be honest. Ooh. Flamed out there. Yeah, it does flame out a little easier than the 350. Not a fan of that. Modern fuel injection, we should not have that happening. I do really like how narrow these bikes feel. Steer really well. Just like really tight stuff. Last time we did demos here, the demo loop was, I think, a little bit longer. Don't feel like I'm getting quite enough time with these bikes. Yeah, again, it feels planted, but the front end is still a little bit twitchy. I don't know if it's a suspension or a geometry thing. Like it seems like it mostly likes to be at lower speeds. Once the speeds pick up a little bit, it really feels a little bit nervous. It's not really confidence inspiring that it's going to go straight. But yeah, this is nice. I like this. Alright, Sherco 125 2024 demo. So I've spent 113 hours riding a Husqvarna 150 recently before I went to my gas. That was my main bike. This feels very similar. Definitely lacking a little bit in the low end torque. Definitely notice it's a little slower. But overall, the power band is pretty smooth. Yeah, it doesn't have the low end of the Husky for sure. Feel like you're going real fast, but you're not. These levers feel real weird. I don't know if it's a different lever or a Bractec or something. Feel like a Bractec lever. Don't feel like Dremel. So I gotta say, this is so far my least favorite bike of the Sherco lineup, to be honest. I don't think a 125 is a Sherco thing. Some brands do it well. Sherco does not. It's nice that it's got e-start, but, and I tell you why I don't like it. So Shercos feel kind of twitchy. They steer real fast. And on a 125 that is already really light and steers really fast, it almost makes it really twitchy. So in my opinion, it's went over the edge from fun to a little bit scary, for me anyways. So I think if you're riding maybe a little bit more open stuff or like faster trails like these, you know, these are enduro trails, it's a little bit too nervous. It doesn't feel like you can really haul ass on it like you want to. Give those guys some room. See how it does pivot turns and stuff. It's jetted nicely. It does stall easily. Wonder if a heavier flywheel would help it a little bit more. Yeah, it feels like a 125. Yeah, it stalls really easily. The brake is actually not in a nice position on this specific bike. Yeah, I think it would be fun for some people, but in my opinion, this is my least favorite Sherco so far. All right, we're on a 450 now. Sherco 450, 4-stroke, obviously. Normally don't like these bikes, to be honest, especially on a trail like this. Just too much. I immediately put it into the mild map because it's a 450. If you ride it a couple gears up, it feels pretty good. It's pretty stable. Everybody says stuff about the pegs. Honestly, the pegs don't bother me at all. I could ride with these pegs. I think because maybe I'm used to the I had a gas, which also had flat pegs, so this feels kind of familiar. A bit of a straighter section. Sticking it to the wild map. And the wild map just spins a rear wheel on a 450. Yeah, you don't need wild on a 450. It's a nice old jump. Just flick it back to mild. I like smoother power. It feels, what I will tell about Sherco is that all their bikes feel very similar in terms of geometry. Much more so similar character than like if you ride different size KTMs or betas, they feel very different. All the Shercos feel very similar with obviously different engine characteristics. They handle very similarly. I don't know if they tune the suspension specifically for each size bike so that it has a similar handling across the entire range. I'm gonna pull over, let this guy go a little bit. But yeah, this I can see if you're maybe riding doing a bunch of desert, this bike would be sweet. For these trails, it's too much. It is too much. It's a clean trail. People are hauling butt. This bike's scary to haul butt on. But I think if you ride it a gear up, it's fine and you can kind of cruise and you always have power on tap. So I can see the benefit in this. I'd say it's a pretty mellow 450 if you are a 450 person. This feels similar to a KTM 500. Alright, now we're on the 300. I'm going to set it into the mild map. That's where I like it better. Okay, I like this bike. It is very, a lot of down low power. Got Cody Webb passing me on the 125. I'm not going to try to keep up with him. Okay, so the suspension feels a little bit stiffer for whatever reason on this bike. There's more vibration than the 250. I wouldn't say the bottom end is noticeably healthier, to be honest. Feels less nimble. Feels a little bit more planted than the 250. I don't like the shifter position on these bikes. Yeah, the 250 definitely feels a little bit more nimble. This feels a little bit more like I like to lug. So we're out of this little more technical stuff. Set it to a little wild map. See how she feels. Yeah, I don't like the suspension on this bike. Feels way choppier than the 250 did. Way less plush. This feels like it beat the shit out of me real quick. I'll let this person go ahead of me. I do like the Shercos ergonomically. Feels like you can really get onto the back of the bike real easily. And the rear brake is in a really good position. But everything about the Sherco feels really stiff. It's almost kind of hard to balance because everything feels very stiff on this thing. It does stall easily. So I think maybe I don't know if they've jetted them differently. Yeah, the shifter position is not great. Wild map's definitely cruisy. I like the bars. Clutch is good. Brakes are good. Don't like the shifter. Not the biggest fan of the suspension. The suspension really worked well on the 250 and the 300 4-stroke, but this one is a little rough, a little heavy, a little stiff. So yeah, I think my favorite ones are the 300 4-stroke and the 250 2-stroke. Okay. Alright, back out on the Sherco 250. Doing another little run here. After riding all the betas. This was my favorite of the Shercos. So I wanted to do another run and see what I feel like, how this compares to the betas. So for whatever reason, this 250 to me feels like it's got the flushest suspension out of all of them. The 300 felt like it had the typical KYB stiffness. Lots of bottom end. It does feel more nimble, to be honest, than the yeah, that felt way better than the beta, to be honest. It is a little bit taller than the beta. Flies nicer. Kind of feels like it just got more go. Like there's more low end than the beta. It does feel very nimble through this really tight stuff. And some of the tires are also different on the bike, so some of it might be tire related. I like the brake feel on the betas better, despite them being Nissan. These are a little bit not as confidence inspiring, to be honest with you. Yeah, this kind of stuff is where this bike really shines. It feels really small and nimble. got the, I'm on the wild map right now, or the web map as we nicknamed it. Yeah, it's definitely taller feeling. Oh yeah, getting the front end up on this bike's way easier. Jeez. Let's put in the mild map. Feels very stiff. Well, the unstallability is not as good. Clutch is much stiffer than on the Beta. You get pretty tired. Feels like you can balance a little bit better on this bike for whatever reason. I don't know, this would be a tough call actually for me, this bike versus the Beta. If I had to choose, honestly I think I might probably choose the Beta. This bike is great. I would be happy with this or the Beta or one of the KTMs. I don't know, what bike am I having more fun on? Honestly, I think I might be having more fun on this bike than the Beta. It feels very flickable. I know, but yeah, the clutch is really stiff. No, not a huge fan of that. Starting to notice it now. Yeah, that feels way better on this bike than the Beta. When you actually hit stuff hard, it doesn't deflect. Yeah, this bike is nice. This is one of my favorite bikes today, for sure.